So it's around this time, post high school, that I continue working on sketchbooks and developing ideas. And this is way before I thought of trying to make comic books as, you know, a living as an artist doing comic books. This was just me just doing stories and making my own stories for my own personal enjoyment. And as you can see here, we've got this is just one of the sketchbooks that I would maintain, and I would just kind of do character designs, and just trying to figure stuff out, try to explore, using inks and pens and interesting poses and it's around this era that you start seeing basically characters that would like, for instance, this character is basically Fail in Almighty. She didn't have a name back in the day, and her original story was called War. But this is where it all kind of starts. There she is again. I'm trying to figure out this really cool, female protagonist, and in a kind of futuristic story. And there's other stuff in here that will eventually get into the warning. But here I'm just exploring, and just really frustrated with art and just, trying to make an effort to become a better artist. But there's this huge time period where you're frustrated. Blau is a very interesting character. And I'll get into Blau a little bit later on, because originally that was going to be my first professional comic book attempt, but eventually it just turned into Almighty. These characters are they're the bad guys for the Gladiators, which, I don't know, maybe they'll show up in The Warning. They probably will, now that I think about it, in the sequel to The Warning called Scirocco. This is just me exploring superhero stuff, and keeping a sketchbook. I think it's important to keep a sketchbook to just kind of understand, to be able to chart your progress. It's important when you get frustrated trying to learn how to draw to be able to look back and see how much you've improved. All right, moving on.